So we've been talking about MIDI a lot now. It's finally time to do something with MIDI. So in this video, we're going to start talking about sequencing MIDI in the DAW. We're going to cover the very basics here of how to set up tracks to record and play back MIDI, how to import MIDI files, and how to record MIDI directly onto tracks. So let's get right to it. If we want to set up a track for MIDI, we need to think about two important things. The first one is where is the MIDI input coming from? What MIDI device are we using? Is it a real one? Is it a virtual one? And what channel is it coming in on? And then where is the MIDI data going? When I hit play on this track, what's actually going to play back that MIDI data? Where's my sound module or responder that's going to turn that into sound? Is it a virtual instrument that exists inside of the DAW? Is it some kind of hardware device or something else? So let's go ahead and go to Reaper and take a look at how we can set this up. Here I am in Reaper, and I'm going to go ahead and add a new track, just the same way I would with an audio track. Insert new track. First I'm going to ask these basic input questions. Where is my input going to come from? Now I have two options here. I have a physical keyboard, this keyboard controller right next to me on the table here. And I can also do a virtual keyboard. If I want to bring in the virtual keyboard, I go to the View menu, and I pick it right here, Virtual MIDI Keyboard. And there it is. If I want to use a real keyboard, I have to do a couple things. I have to go to the Preferences. And now if you're on Windows, it might not be under this Reaper menu. It might be under the Options menu instead. But I'm going to the Preferences for Reaper. And I'm going to go to this section here. It's under the Audio section for some reason, and it's MIDI devices. And this shows me all the different MIDI devices that my operating system has found. The one that I'm actually trying to use here is called Port 1, is the one that's coming in from my MIDI controller. So I can double click on that. I can enable these two checkboxes, enable input and enable control messages. We'll explain what that means in a later video when we talk about envelopes. But I can check those both off, hit OK, hit either apply or OK there, and then we should be good to go. And then I need to tell Reaper where the MIDI for this particular track is coming from. So you see right here, here's an input section here. If I hit that little triangle, then I can select my input. Right now, it's getting audio input because it doesn't know I want to do MIDI at all in this track. So I have to go down to Input MIDI, and then I can pick where I want it to come from that Port 1 in a specific channel, or from my virtual MIDI keyboard specific channel. What I'm going to do here is just say all MIDI inputs and all channels, because I'm not recording anywhere else right now. I'm not getting input on any other tracks, so that's very easy for me. I can just do all MIDI, so wherever it might be coming from, it'll be sure to catch it. So that's the input side of things, getting things into my track. But now, if I hit a note on this keyboard here, nothing's going to happen still, because I haven't told it where I want it to send that output. So I'm still not going to hear any sound until I set it up to have something respond to the MIDI on this track. So there are a couple ways I can do this. The way we're going to do it in this module, at least in all of my videos, is we're going to click on the Effects button, and we're going to bring up a virtual instrument here. So I'll click on the Instruments section there. And this shows all the instruments that are available on my computer. The instruments that you have available are probably going to be a little bit different from the ones that I have here. But a few of these are included with Reaper, so we're going to stick to those right now. And I'm going to pick this one called Resynth. Very basic instrument, just plays back some basic waveforms with a few little bits of control on it. But it should get me some sound. So if I play this, still not getting sound because there's a couple other things I need to do. I need to arm this track for recording, just like I did when I was recording audio. That means that I'm ready to receive input and actually do something with it on this track. But I'm still not hearing any sound. That's because I need to turn monitoring on. We didn't do this when we were recording audio, though you can, especially if you're using headphones. But what I want to do is not just record onto the track, but I want to hear in real time through my speakers what I'm recording. And so when I hit play, this little triangle here, I'm sorry, it's not a play button, it's just a little triangle there. I think it's actually supposed to be a picture of a speaker. When I hit that, it's going to turn on monitoring. And so now I can finally hear sound in response. So these were a fairly complicated set of steps, but I think they're important to understand. Again, just to recap, we set up our input by by setting up a hardware device as necessary, or else going and finding our virtual MIDI keyboard, and then picking it from this menu, or picking a selection of things like all MIDI inputs, all channels. Then I have to set up my responder. So in this case, I did a virtual one with an effect. If I wanted to do a hardware one, I would hit on this I/O button, and then I could pick a MIDI hardware output here. I don't have any configured on my system right now, so it's not showing me any options. But if you had an external device you wanted to send to, that's the place to do it. But for the most part, we go and pick a virtual device on our effects interface there. We arm for recording, and we enable monitoring. So now that we're set up, we want to actually get some MIDI data into there. And just as with audio, there's two different approaches we can take. We can import existing MIDI data from a standard MIDI file, or we can record MIDI directly into Reaper. So I'm going to show you how both of those work now. If I want to go ahead and import MIDI data in, I've got in the Finder here, I've got a MIDI file here, just a standard MIDI file. And all I have to do is drag it in, just like I would have with an audio file. So I'm going to drag it onto this track to start at measure 1. And it gives me an option here. I didn't explain this in the last video, but there are actually two different formats of standard MIDI files. And so I get a choice here about whether this only happens to have one channel of data on it. But if I wanted to, I could take each of the 16 channels represented by my standard MIDI file, and I could put each of them onto a separate track. So I'd end up with 16 tracks instead of one. Or else I could put it all onto a single track, which is what I want to do here, because I really only have one track of data. So I hit OK, I get it all on my single track, and then I can play this back. And you can see already it's not showing me a waveform here, because it's not audio data. It's showing me a symbolic representation of the MIDI pitches that are being played here. And we'll get more into that representation of what it means in the next module, in the next video in this module. Now, if I wanted to record, I'd go through a slightly different set of steps here. And I'll go ahead and record, I'll create a new track here. And I'll do all those things I did to set it up. I'm going to disable that one so it's not armed for recording anymore. I'll arm this one, turn on monitoring, set up my input to go all MIDI inputs, all channels, and I will add an instrument on here. So I will add that resynth. And I'll close that up. So now when I hit, you can see through my level meters I'm going on to track 2 instead of track 1. Before I start recording, I'm also going to go ahead and turn on a metronome. And you notice I'm not putting on headphones to monitor this, even though I'm going to be hearing my metronome, and I'm going to be hearing the music from track 1 is going to be playing back as well. And the reason for this is pretty simple. I'm not recording audio. I'm not recording with the microphone here. I'm recording MIDI data. So the only thing that's going to get recorded is whatever MIDI messages I record in by hitting notes on this virtual MIDI keyboard or ones on the physical one right next to me. So I don't have to worry about any bleed through of audio coming from any other sources here. I can just listen over speakers, and that'll work just fine. So I will go ahead and start recording. I'll get my 2 measures of count off here, and we'll see what happens. And then I can stop that. I can listen to what I did, play it back. And maybe I didn't like that so much, I want to take another stab at it. I can do multiple takes just like I did with audio. So I can try this again. So I tried something a little different that time. I hit stop and save that. And you see the multiple takes are showing up here. And I can switch between them the same way I did before by control clicking or right clicking and going to this take submenu and switching which take is active and deleting ones I don't like and so on and so forth. So that's the basics of recording with MIDI. And now that we've gotten MIDI into Reaper, we've set up tracks for MIDI, and we have imported and we've recorded, it's time to actually edit the data that's in there and look at the unique ways that we can edit MIDI data that we couldn't do with audio data.